Common Craft video by Teresa Cummings. I believe that one of the main reasons that low-income schools are achieving below grade level is that they lack high-quality teachers. As a teacher, I have extremely high expectations for all of my students, and am not afraid to be evaluated based on my students' achievement. I believe that as a teacher, I can correct all learning problems. I am willing to solely face the responsibility for every one of my students instead of blaming their families, their school, or their economic situation for achieving below grade level in my classroom. It is my individual responsibility to develop each student's well-being and enable them to expand on their fullest potential in all aspects of achievement. As a special education teacher, I also aim to ensure that students possess the knowledge, problem-solving skills, and positive attitudes necessary to enable them to adapt and thrive in this diverse, increasingly complex society in which they will lead their lives. This quote from Howard Gardner adequately sums up my philosophy of education. I want my students to understand the world, but not just because the world is fascinating and the human mind is curious. I want them to understand it so they will be positioned to make it a better place. Knowledge is not the same as morality, but we need to understand it if we are to avoid past mistakes and move in productive directions. An important part of that understanding is knowing who we are and what we can do. My goal as a special education teacher is for all of my students to become independent, lifelong learners who are self-motivated to succeed and empowered to make healthy choices that benefit themselves and the community around them. I focus on what my students can do instead of what they can't. I hold my students to extremely high standards and modify curriculum to allow them to succeed and achieve to the best of their abilities. I believe in multisensory methods of teaching with a particular emphasis on active, hands-on learning and visual learning techniques in order to successfully explain school curriculum. I will bring curriculum to life for students by employing real-life situations in all subject areas. It is also a core goal of mine for each of my students to leave my classroom with strong character development and social skills. Students are expected to take responsibility for their actions and to understand how their actions may affect others. Using a combination of both these techniques will help me and my students become lifelong learners.